Bezat Hashem, we would like also to mention that it's very important for the person, for the man, is to know how to talk to his wife. So I was thinking maybe to give you a little bit summary of whatever we have from the Sefer of Rabbi Arush about what's the proper approach a person has whenever he's supposed to have, whenever he's going to talk to his wife in certain situations that he disagrees with her. Disagreements, that's part of life. Welcome back. Disagreement is part of life. But whenever you disagree between husband and wife, it's not like you disagree between two men. The people that you face is different than you and your wife. So it's very important to know what's the right way that you should go and disagree. If you have to disagree, all right. Unfortunately, there is so many gitin goes on, chabal, that majority of it, I can say, is lack of guidance. That the man doesn't know how to say to his wife, the wife doesn't know how to say to the man, and like this, balagan stayot. And unfortunately, there's a lot of children grows up without father, without a mother, without both of them, balagan gadol. So in order to make shalom, you have to know to guide. So I decided to make a little bit, in short, those 4 steps. So it says, first of all, you should know that women are an entity, a person that you cannot criticize. The moment you criticize a woman, you're harming her kavod. And the whole purpose of a woman is, the Arizal says, a woman is connected sfirat malchut. And malchut is king. In king, even if the king says, I forgive you my kavod, his kavod is not forgiven. Means to say king, the whole essence of a king is kavod. A father tells you, listen, Yosef, I'm your father, yeah, it's okay, you don't have to stand up for me. Patu, I'm mochel my kavod. Father can forgive his kavod or no? Yes. King that says, I forgive my kavod to the nation, can his kavod be forgiven or no? No. Melech shemachal al kevodo, en kevodo machul. Says the Arizal, do you know from which sephirah women are coming? From which sephirah they are coming? From sefirat malchut. What is malchut? Melech. What is melech? The whole point of melech? Kavod. So the moment you start criticizing her, do you know what you're doing? You're harming her kavod. And whenever you're harming her kavod, you're harming her essence. It means that she is no one in your eyes. Even though your intentions was 100% right, and you're 100% right with your criticism. But it's still not something you can tell to the wife. That's the first step you have to know. This is the goal we all should reach. That we should see our wives 100% positive. There is nothing you can criticize her about, and there's nothing that even if you want to criticize, you're allowed to criticize. That's number 1 rule. But Rabbi Arush knows that we are not really living in such a reality. We have what to work on when it comes to criticism.
We're Sephardi.
Huh? Doesn't matter, Johnny Akish. Your wife still came from Sfirat Malchut, even though you Bukhari Sephardi, which is double Sephardi, right? Nevertheless, Asamarkand, Dushanbe, whatever it is, the fact that you, a man, going to criticize her, you know what you're doing? You're harming her essence. It's not like you're criticizing another man. It's you criticizing a woman. It's total different thing than whenever you criticize a man or whenever you criticize a woman. By a woman, her whole essence is melech, malchut. If it is malchut, she cannot even forgive that. That's the whole concept behind. King cannot forgive his respect. Even halakha says that he wants to forgive. Be'emet he wants to forgive. He's not allowed to forgive. It says David HaMelech, whenever Shimi ben Gera cursed him out, he said, stop. Hashem amar lo kalel. Nachon? Whenever Shaul HaMelech, David HaMelech cut off his corner of his garment, nachon? What happened at the end? At the end of days, what happened to David HaMelech? Do you know? David HaMelech was very cold. Why? What's the reason? One of the reasons they say is because he cut off the corner of Shaul HaMelech's clothes. Another reason is because he disrespected his status as a king. He forgave his respect to Shimei ben Gera. He had to suffer in such a way at the end of days. We see that king cannot forgive his kavod. It's something it's not forgivable. So it says, wife is coming to the world from Sfirat. There is in Shamayim Sfirot. We're coming from the side of the Chesed in the world. They are coming from the side of Malchut in the world. That's why if a person is Has v'Shalom harming her, he's harming her kavod. And even if she wants to forgive, she cannot forgive. That's what the Rabbi Arush brings there. It says if you are harming a person, hurting a person, a man, it's like you are taking something and you're engraving it in sand, in the dust, in soil. You come after a week, 2, 3, it's not there anymore. It says whenever you are criticizing your wife, you know what happens? It's as you're taking the metal and you are engraving it in the bone. After 2, 3 weeks, you're gonna come. You took a bone, you engraved something in there. After 2, 3 weeks, you're gonna come. Is whatever you engraved still there or no? Huh? But she told you, I forgive you.
Always there.
She just said, I forgive you. But be'emet cannot forgive that. It's something impossible for them to do. So you have to think 1,000,000 times before you're about to criticize a wife, that you know what you're about to do? You're about to put that mark inside the bone. And he explains what's the reason. He says, man made out of Kimi afar bata vel afar tashuv. You came from afar and you're going to go back to the afar. So we, men, came from soil. So whenever you're talking to a man, you're saying a few words, it's being written on the soil. Something is being written on the soil, 2, 3 weeks, it's going to go away. But whenever you talk to a woman, it's being written on the bone. Whenever you are engraving something on the bone, even after 2, 3 weeks, after 2, 3 years, after 20, 30 years, you're going to come back, and guess what, Mr. Boris? She remembers that or no?
Yeah.
100% detail by detail. What's the reason? It got never forgotten, it's on the bone. So it says Rabbi Arush, first step in Shalom Bayit, person have to make sure never ever criticize her. But Be'ezat Hashem, tomorrow we're going to see what happens when a person cannot not criticize.
How do you speak?
He's like, well, what should you do? It's bothering me that her behavior bothers me. Show me zealot. Whenever we're sitting by her parents, she told me something that I didn't like to hear. What should I do? Or if I don't like the food, or if I don't like something else that she's doing, what should I do? So the best way is to always look at her in a positive way. Just pay attention to her positive. Nimagu. Tomorrow, what's going to be whenever a person nimagu. But for now, Rabotai, you have to remember that concept. Women cannot be criticized, especially by their husbands. Whenever they're doing that, it's very hard for them to forgive. And like this, Rabotai, a person is already starting a problem with them. So if you want to have Shalom Bayit with her, make sure to think 1,000,000 times, not 2 times, 1,000,000 times, before you're going to say the criticize to her, in order for you to keep Shalom Bayit with her for the upcoming years. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.